Welcome back guys, it's Elwood here from Not So Serious Gaming. Today I'm finally getting back to doing some guides. And today's guide will be for another one of Sergeant Spike's amazing maps called Twisted Mansion. Step 1. Get your body. When you spawn in, interact with your body. You can tell which character you are from the portrait on the bottom left, or just go up to each one of them until you find the correct one. These next two steps are actually optional, but I'll go through them anyway. Optional Step 1. Unlocking the gates. This step is not needed for the Easter egg or the game in general. However, after collecting 2 keys, you can open 2 gates that are around the spawn area. One is next to the Poison River and the other one is next to the Perk Square. Just go up these stairs. Watch carefully and I'll quickly show you all the key locations. Once you pick up the key, as long as you're on the correct side of the gate, you can unlock it permanently. So make sure you check all 5 key locations so you can collect the key and open the gates. Optional Step 2. You'll notice these colourful orbs around the map. You must fill them up with souls so you can actually power up all the perk machines. Without powering them up, you'll have no perks for the map, and I strongly advise that because this map can get a little bit tricky. Step 2. Draining the poison. There are 5 valves located around the map, but only 4 of these are needed for each game, because one of them is a decoy put in there to interfere with your progress. The valves must be turned in a certain order to completely drain the poison. If one valve is turned incorrectly, you will need to start the sequence all over again. The sequence will stay the same for the entire game, however it does change between each game that you load up separately. Firstly, interact with any of the valves, as this will become the very first valve in the sequence. Now, this is where you must listen very carefully, as King Boo says the next location at the end of the draining cutscene. He will either say hall, garden, corridor, courtyard, or library. The location he says is the location of the next valve that must be turned, so keep a crawler or 2 and interact with the valves that are needed. Steps 3 to 6 can be completed in any order, however I'm going to show you the way the map creator advised me to do it, as what we are trying to do now is to solve 4 puzzles around the map in order to get a code for these dials, allowing us to return to our true form. Step 3. Bookcase Riddle. This step is for solving the puzzle that relates to the first dial. This dial can be unlocked after turning a total of 9 bookcases. To turn a bookcase, you will need some points, and you'll just need to go up to it and interact with it. Each bookcase will either have a number, a perk, points, or death behind it. The only ones related to the Easter egg are the ones with a number on it. However, you can still get free perks, points, and all of that jazz while you're doing it. After turning any 2 bookcases, a hint will spawn in. Then turning another 3 will cause a second hint to spawn in, and then turning another 4 will cause a final hint to spawn in. These 3 hints must be found in order to narrow down which number is the correct number. This is because one hint will tell the player which colour books on the bookcase will house the correct number, another hint tells the player whether the number is odd or even, and the final hint tells the player whether the bookcase is in the library or not in the library. Once you're powered with all the hints and the knowledge of the numbers, use the hints to locate the number and input it into the dial. It's possible for there to be more than one potential number after knowing all the 3 hints. If this is the case, it's time for some trial and error, as you'll only be able to know whether it's correct or not after solving the 4 puzzles, and of course unlocking the rest of the dial. Then if it is incorrect, change the dial to one of the other potential numbers and try again. But just for now, note down all the numbers that it could be and move on to the next steps. I'll quickly speed through the locations of the bookshelves, as they can be scattered around the place. 6 locations are just here in the library, whilst 5 locations are in other areas of the map. If you're stuck for the hints, you'll need to find golden books that are hidden around the map. These locations can change, but here's the locations so you can find them for yourself. These locations will also be hints for the other steps for the other dials, so make sure if you get stuck on anything at all to go check these out. Step 4. King Boo Tongue. Go to the Royal Garden and there's a King Boo statue right in the middle. While standing within the purple markers, all the boos in the map will start making their way over to the statue. Within the radius of the arrows on the ground that are pointing at the statue, the player will need to shoot all of the boos within this area. If the player gets a jump scare, then the boos are too far away from the statue, as this is what the boos do when you shoot them normally, so be careful as they kinda act like the dudes from Buried that will steal all your points. You want to shoot them so the boo flies into the statue. Once all the boos have been captured, his tongue will poke out, revealing a number. The amount of boos needed depends on the amount of players in the game. 1 player, 3 boos, 2 players equals 6 boos, 3 players equal 9 boos, and 4 plus players equal 12 boos. If you take too long, the boos will escape, and a boo laugh sound effect will play to show you when this happens. Players can just shoot the boos again to get it back inside the statue. Once done, place the number onto dial 2. Step 5. Maze of the Instant Confusion. Complete the Maze of Instant Confusion. Green lights are the areas you can walk on, yellow lights will become green lights when filled with souls, and red lights you can just never walk on and are dead ends. You now have to follow the green lights until you come across a yellow light. Then you must fill it with souls so you can progress. The route will change each game, so good luck not getting trapped in at a dead end. Once you reach the end, the number is on the rock just here. Put this into the 3rd dial and continue to the last step. Step 6. A. Teleport to Pack-a-Punch. There are 4 pressure plates around the map. I'll ping up the 4 locations on the screen just now. The amount of active plates depends on the amount of players. If there's 1 player, you only need to activate 1, if there's 2, then 2, and so on and so forth. When all players have stepped on the plates at the same time, you'll all be teleported to the Pack-a-Punch area. Step 6B. Fill the statues. After teleporting to PAP, all of the 8 question mark statues have turned into the 8 playable characters. The only statues you need to interact with are the 4 zombified characters within this game. And then saying that, the only ones you need to interact with for the Easter egg though, are the ones of the current players that you are playing as. These statues can be filled up by souls, but only of the souls of the zombified characters related to the statue. So kill Wario next to the Wario statue and so on and so forth. Once the soul boxes has been collected, a ghost character will come out the top of the statue. Hey there! When you've done this and all the ghosts are free, you can now head back to Pack-a-Punch and continue the next step. However, if you fill up any of the other statues with souls, or fill up the ones for the Easter egg again, you'll be given a max ammo. However, there is a cooldown for this so you don't spam it and do it that often. Step 6C. Teleport to Pack-a-Punch again. Now teleport back to Pack-a-Punch. You will now find a dead body for each character you're playing as. Interact with each body to move them, and you'll see a positive or a negative number stained in their blood. Be sure to take the ghost light if you cannot see anything. To get this, just simply walk underneath it and one will start following you. The number that you now need to put into the 4th dial will be the calculations of all these numbers, so add or subtract whichever you need to. Step 7. Submit the code. All dials should now be available and have their codes entered. Step on a large pressure plate just in front of the dials, and if the dials are correct, they will start glowing green, and King Boo will now open the door. Ascend through the rainbow tube and teleport to the alternative dimension where you can save your characters. Step 8. Saving your characters. You will now be teleported to an alternate dimension, a dark version of the mansion entrance and the courtyard. Look around for your character's true form, which will be floating. Find all the characters, and all the players will need to interact with their characters at the same time to transfer their souls into their true body. Step 9. Boss Battle. This can be a little bit tricky, but it's time to defeat King Boo. There are 3 phases to this battle. Phase 1 and 2 are the same. However, Phase 2 does have zombies, and you can't die in Phase 1 unless you walk into the spikes. Phase 3 there will be no zombies, but King Boo will kill you himself if he touches you, so make sure you stay away. The way you deal damage to the boss is the same in all 3 phases though. You will need to charge up the ghost light, and then as long as you're 56% or over, shoot the ghost light when it gets close to King Boo, or when King Boo gets close to it. An easy way to do this in the first 2 phases is by getting captured by King Boo on purpose while the ghost light is following you, and then once you're captured you can shoot the ghost light that's just above you, causing damage. Or just like me, when you have some distance, just shoot it and play it safe, because who wants to get captured in case you die? If you charge up the ghost light to 100%, you'll do more damage and have a bigger effect radius. However, to do this, once a light caps off at 80%, you'll need to stand under the ray of light and manually charge it by interacting with the light. Now, to recharge the light, which can be a bit confusing. So just go underneath the light and it will start following you. Then guide it over to the recharge station just by walking over to it in the middle of the room. The yellow light is for the smallest one and can fit in any of the stations. The green and red lights are the medium size and can fit in 3 of the recharge stations, and the purple light is the biggest one and can only fit in 1 recharge station. They will automatically charge up until they get to 80%. Go back underneath it to get it to start following you again, and of course go back underneath it and start and interact with it to charge up to 100% if you wish to do so. So rinse and repeat and keep shooting the light until he's finally dead. Once you've done enough damage, you'll be rewarded with cutscenes and knowing you've completed one of Sergeant Spike's amazing Mario creations. I almost said maps then, it kind of threw me, but I digress. I hope you found this guide helpful, and if you did, then please consider leaving a like and subscribing, as it really helps this small channel out like myself. And then I get to reward myself with a cookie. I'm gonna kill you. You guys have been amazing, where I've just been Elwood from Not So Serious Gaming. Hope you have a great morning, evening, night, whatever freaking time of day is. I hope you have a great one, and peace out, guys.
The f was that?